Thank you, everyone. It's a beautiful day. Thank God it's Friday. This is the TGIF edition of Global Morning. My name is Ramsey Enoch. And of course, Jumai Manson is here on this beautiful Friday morning. It's good to have you in the studio.
It's great to be here, Ramsey Enoch Agbo. It's great to be here. It's a beautiful Friday. It's TGIF. The weather is a bit breezy, so I think there's a sign of rain. I'm not sure yet, but it looked like it in a bit. But all the same, it's great to be here, and good morning to each and every one of you out there. Our culture will say, "How was your night?" But no. Hope you rested well. I think that's the right terrain chief for that, English. I hope you rested well and hope you were good. And we look forward to a bright, positive, beautiful day.
As a matter of fact, so many things happening around Nigeria. And of course, the heat is increasing. Mm-hmm. There is no power. And of course, everyone is thinking solar energy as we speak. I'm thinking that the time will come when people try to forget about BHC and whatever they are called, when everyone have access to solar. A lot of people are working towards it. If the State House would shift from PHCN to solar energy, then why not? Everyone in Nigeria at a point would start depending on solar energy. I think that's going to be better for us. All right. This morning we'll be bringing you some discussions, and of course, these are discussions that will make way for your day. And as a matter of fact, don't forget that we'll also bring you taste and texture. We'll bring you the inspirationals. Ogochukwu Mobuna is going to be joining us also for social buzz. All of this lined up to make your Friday a beautiful time. Now, let's get into politics a little bit. Hardly anybody say anything in Nigeria now without mentioning politics. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, politicking is seriously going on. Campaigns, they said it has not started. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people have already started campaigning on the ground. I could remember when some people frowned at the fact that it wasn't time for campaign, but we're seeing billboards everywhere, carrying pictures of politicians, mm-hmm. With inscriptions, mm-hmm. and of course, a pointer to 2027. And some persons of the school of thought that instead of governance, the politicians are busy politicking. Mm-hmm. What the average Nigerian politician is thinking about right now is whether they will be able to return in 2027 or not. But then, what about the Nigerian people, the electorate, who originally are supposed to be the ones to decide who is going to rule if everything works according to how it is supposed to work? Mm-hmm. Also, feeling that they are being left out in governance. But if you ask a chieftain from the ruling party, they will tell you the party is doing extremely well. Like they will always say, the economy is not how it used to be. The hunger has reduced, the hard economy has reduced according to some school of thought anyway, but the average Nigerian will tell you, I am not feeling the impact of whatever improvement anyone is talking about. Mm-hmm. And that is where we found ourselves right now, as it has to do with fuel. A lot of people were of the opinion that, the Strait of Hormuz at least has been opened, but then there are still some blockages, and that's the reason the price of fuel have not really dropped in Nigeria, even though some people said if the price of goods and services go up in Nigeria, it hardly comes down.
Yes, it does. And people take advantage of it. And you said something about individuals saying that they're not being carried along when it comes to governance and all of that. Well, that is why there's inclusivity is very important. And, we're going to be speaking on women in construction. There's a CEO in construction that will be talking about how it is a woman in that particular field. But at the same time, the electorate, like I said, you hold the power. Your voter's card, that's your power. That's your voice. And For a lot of people, I will say, but the truth is, whatever will happen, everyone already knows who their candidate will be. No, it's not true. You hold the power. Your vote counts. It's very important. And it's when you come out, do due diligence when it comes to voting. It carries weight. Your vote counts at that particular situation. So whoever's going to, the right individual, that's all we're looking at. And you're right, everyone is talking about politics. Politicians want to be there 2027. But it's not all about the campaigning. The work that you have done will actually speak for you and what you are doing. All the things that you bring out in place that matters to Nigerians. You always say that Nigerians, we don't ask for too much. Just give us the basics. Give us light, electricity, low cost in transportation, low rates in food, all of that. Just the basics, all the basics, which is our right. It's not a privilege, it's our right. Give that to us, and I think there'll be a balance. And of course, the top on the list is how to curb this menace of insecurity. Very important. So with all of that, we hope the needful will be done. Please go out and get your voter's card. It's needed, it's important. Don't give up. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, and at the long run, everything's going to be fine. Right, Ramsey?
Yes, of course, everything is going to be fine. Some people say, well, that's the common prayer of an average Nigerian man. It will be well, it go better.
Yes.
And for real, it's going to get better someday. Yeah. Now let's make a little move to Kano State. Well, the politics in Kano is taking some form of shape.
Yes, it is.
And of course, since the defection of the governor, Abba Yusuf, to the All Progressive Congress, Kano politics has not remained the same. The movement of Kwankwaso to the ADC
yes.
Also broke the camel's back.
Yes, it did.
You know, when Abba Yusuf left, Kwankwaso was like, well, that day was supposed to be declared World Disappointment Day, World Betrayer Day, as a matter of fact. That day is supposed to be declared World Betrayer Day. And now, not sooner than later, after a very short time, he also defected from the All Progressive Congress.
Yes, he did.
No, from NNPP, I beg your pardon,
yes.
To the ADC. And, you know, one thing about the Kwankwasias, it's not about the party, but about the individual.
Of course.
Remember how that name, Kwankwasias, came. That is Kwankwaso, the Kwankwaso group.
Yes.
Somehow.
They say it's a cult.
I don't know about
because
that.
Always, you know.
I don't know about that, but I believe it's a people that have a common goal, that believe in common goal, a common ideology,
and believe
in an individual in pursuit of that goal, and of course, whatever it is. But right now, I think Gazo is being screened already.
Yes.
And he's going to be assuming the position of the deputy governor
of Kano State.
I saw him. He's a young-looking man.
Which is good.
I don't know if it is his stature, but I don't know how old he is. But then he's young and, of course, energetic.
Yes.
All right. All of this, if you look at it critically, everything that is happening in Kano now is tilting, is positioning, and I call it strategic positioning. These are strategies for the 2027 election. I tell you the truth, the 2027 election is going to be very tough in some parts of the country.
Yes,
it doesn't matter whether the governor is in the All Progressive Congress. You know, there is a twist right now, because we heard Nigerians said the governors who defected into the All Progressive Congress, all right, are being promised a second term. But now, the way it is, everyone has been given a free hand to go and run, even though there is this perception, or the way it has been a norm in Nigeria, that the ruling party most times have it all. All right?
Yeah.
But this 2027 election is going to be different somehow. A lot of political analysts have spoken in that direction, and I'm trying to pick from what they've said in the past. I'm not a political analyst. Well, I'm a political analyst to an extent.
Yes, you are.
So, but what the people of Nigeria will do in 2027, nobody knows yet.
No.
And I give you my word for it. It's not going to be all bed of roses.
No.
For the presidency, you may not argue so much, but as some people believe, all right, the power of incumbent, as a matter of fact, which has been there for a very long time.
Yes.
But you can't rule out competition completely. Forget about the fact that we don't have a strong opposition. Was it not yesterday I was asking?
Yes,
I guess about
an
opposition.
APC chieftain, and he says that there's no strong opposition.
And what does that mean when there is no strong opposition in any country?
That's the language that he speaks for itself. Automatically, he has told you indirectly, if you can read within the lines what he's
But
trying
if
to
there
tell
is
you.
no opposition, how would it look like?
But you know, for me, I think we shouldn't be too quick to think that there is no opposition. 2027 is still a bit far. We're in 2026 and it's just months counting down. We do not know what can happen in the next month. We do not know what strategies these political parties have. But as it looks like now, when it comes to the governor, it's all man for himself. All man for himself.
Go run. Well,
Yeah, run.
let's see.
And don't bet on the fact that you defected to the
No, they said
party.
it's not a ticket.
Of
that
course,
you
no,
will
Wike
return.
said it. The FCT minister, he said it. Even if you defect on, but it
But that-
doesn't give you
no.
courage that you are going to come back for a
Let's
semester.
wait
He
for
said it.
2027. Maybe some governors will come out to say, this is what I was told. Why is it like this now? This is what I was given. Why is it
Okay.
like? Because everyone is denying now that nobody was given anything, that people just saw a party moving the right direction and they
that was like
decided
to
to
work
flood
for-
aid.
Yes, exactly.
In their numbers, as a matter of fact. But then, for Kano State, you can't completely rule it out. But then, what I believe in Kano is that votes will be divided. It's not like before that everybody will be waiting. What vote is going to come from Kano? What vote is going to come from Rivers? What vote is going to come from Lagos and all of that? This 2027, the vote will definitely be divided because some persons will be on the side of the governor, while some others will be on the side of the former governor
of Kano State.
Kwankwaso.
Yes.
But then the trouble in ADC is a trouble. It's a problem.
Yes, it is.
It is a problem because I don't know if anything happens and ADC doesn't have its footing and these people still remain in ADC, there's going to be a problem. In case INEC said, well, time has gone, ADC cannot field candidates anymore, it's going to be a problem. And the case is in court.
Yes,
we all
it is.
expected
yes.
something was going to happen
Yes.
2 days back, but then nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
But let's just keep our fingers crossed
Yeah, we
and see how everything is going to go. 2027, pregnant woman.
Why must it always be our agenda? Why didn't you say something else? Why you say 2027?
You know what pregnancy is? They call it expectancy period. So a lot of people are expected to see what will happen in 2027. Are we really going to have a repeat of what happened in 2023, where everybody came out for the Labour Party and people came out with umbrellas, generator, canopies, and waited in the rain,
Yes,
in
they
the
did.
dark, to
Yes, they
ensure
did.
their votes have been counted before they leave? Are we going to have a repeat? Which party is going to be the party that will come to chance or oppose the All Progressive Congress in 2027? Looking at the fact that the ADC, Labour Party, and PDP are currently in disarray because of internal crisis. All right. At this point, we'll go on a quick break. After this break, we'll bring you Taste and Texture. Stay with us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. This is Saadatu Garba, your creative chef. In today's episode of the program, we'll be making chips in egg. Chips and egg is the ultimate breakfast consumed in Nigerian homes. The delicious richness of the potatoes pairs nicely with the egg and other ingredients that you'd love to make this over and over again. Ingredients: potatoes, 4 eggs, chopped onions, chopped scotch bonnet, green and red bell peppers, seasoning cubes, salt, vegetable oil, and water. Step 1. Peel the potatoes and cut into long strips. Add your potatoes into a bowl and sprinkle some salt. Add some oil to a pan, then fry your potatoes till crispy. Step 2. For the eggs, break your eggs into a bowl. Sprinkle some salt and beat the eggs. In a pan, add some oil and onions and fry for a bit. Add your bell peppers, scotch bonnet, and stir, then add your seasoning powder. Add the beaten eggs into a pan and mix the eggs and vegetables together. Arrange your chips into the pan and cover to cook for a minute. Flip the egg and chips to the other side to cook as well. There you have it, your chips in egg is ready to enjoy. That's a wrap on today's episode of Taste and Texture. I hope you enjoyed this culinary demonstration and trust you will try this recipe at home. Be sure to join me again for yet another taste-friendly delicacy. I am Saadatu Garba, your creative chef, saying thank you for watching.
All right, you are welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that segment on Taste and Texture. Chips and eggs in pizza form, delicious. It's a must try. You should. And at about this point, we're going to tilt towards the inspirational segment, Heart to Heart. Let's hear how you can be inspired today. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to another moment of Heart to Heart Inspirational. Let's talk heart to heart a little bit, because a lot of people have not been able to bounce back after the last time they failed. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Welcome to Heart Inspirationals. Failure is a feedback and not a funeral. I want to say that again, because of people who failed. Some people fell and they remain on the ground. They never got up again because of what they feel people around them are going to say. But then failure is a feedback. And that's why some people tell you all the time that whatever happens, all right, there is a lecture from every lesson. You know, whatever happens to you in life, there is something that you are meant to learn from it, either positively or negative thing that you need to take cognizance of and be watchful as you move on the journey of life. So I just want to tell you today that failure is a feedback and not a funeral. What kind of feedback did you get from that last failure? Have you even tried anything at all? Have you experienced failure before? If you've not experienced failure before, it means you need to try harder, because on this journey of destiny, people who are successful today are people who have failed a number of times and they got up on their feet, learned from their mistake, and their mistake became a stepping stone for them, and of course they are where they are today. Why? Because they never allow that failure to become a funeral to their dream. What am I emphasizing? As a matter of fact, let's normalize something today, all right? Let's normalize something today. A failure, you've heard about it all the time. Okay, this person is a failure, that person is a failure. You know, people assess their counterparts, their neighbors, their brothers, their colleagues differently with different perspectives. Some persons already have been tagged as failure, and that has been affecting a lot of people. But then, have you accepted that you are a failure? That somebody told you are a failure does not make you a failure until you accept that you are a failure. All right, not because it feels good, yeah, but because it is necessary. Sometimes, you know, it's risk. It's risk. If you have taken a risk before, and of course, it didn't go well the way you think it was going to go, and you failed, it doesn't mean that is a funeral. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again. I was speaking with someone a few days ago, yeah,
And we're talking about a particular business. And the young man told me, now I am successful. But then, during my wilderness experience, when I was in the workshop, nobody knew anything about me. When I was failing over and over and over again, I lost money several times. I had to stay indoors and think of the next thing to do. He failed severally until he said, no, I am not going to allow this failure become a funeral. My dream is not going to be cut short by this failure. And he stood on his ground. Consistency. I must always emphasize consistency anytime I come up to speak to anyone on heart to heart, because it is very important. If you want to succeed in life, then consistency and discipline is very important. But the bottom line is this: nobody ever succeeds without first stumbling. Yes, you stumble, then you stand again. Even every little child, before a child starts walking, you stand them up, you see them, they walk a little bit, they fall. They walk a little bit, they fall until their leg gets stable on the ground. All right? And you see them walking firmly. Then before you know it, they start running. The same thing is applicable to life. So failure, as a matter of fact, is not proof that you can't. All right? It's not a proof that you can't do it. It's proof that you tried. It's a proof that you tried. When you fail, it means you tried and you failed. It doesn't mean that's the end. It reveals what doesn't work and refine what eventually would work later. That's what failure does. Anytime you fail, you know that, yes, this one does not work. Let me try the other one. It gives you a focus. It makes you know that, yes, if I go this way, I'm going to fail again. So I need to do something else. It's only a fool that do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. If you are doing one thing the same way all the time, you get the same result. You need to apply technicality, strategy, discipline, excellence every time. Whatever you do, let that touch of excellence be in your head. All right? So that when you fail in one thing, you try doing it the other way. But then don't allow that first, second, third, fourth failure be your funeral. Let your dream and your vision and your talent not be buried because you failed. Because that failure is trying to refine you. It's trying to build something in you. What do you have to do? I want you to know that failure, what it does is that it reveals what doesn't work and refines what eventually will work. But you need to have this mentality. Every setback is information. If you are willing to learn, yes, that's what it means. Every setback that you've had in the past is an information. Because there is something you need to learn from every setback, from every failure. Everyone throwing stones at you right now is because they know you are going somewhere. Let me tell you the truth. We have a lot of friendly enemies these days. Some people are smiling with you, but then they are not interested in your success. What they say behind you, if you hear it, hey, but then that shouldn't deter you. That shouldn't deter you because you have a destination. So every setback is information if you are willing to learn, because most people don't fail because they are incapable. That you failed, it's not because you are incapable, but because you are going somewhere, because you are dogged, because you are rugged, because you are determined, because you are focused, because you have a dream, you have a vision, something you are pursuing and something you want to get. You have a target. So when people like that fail, they fail because they don't stop. But if you stop anytime soon, it means that failure has gotten to you. Let me give you an illustration. For instance, a GPS recalculates when you miss a turn. It doesn't shut down. All right? Failure, in other words, simply means it's time to adjust. Anytime you fail, the message is, no, I need to adjust. This principle, this procedure, this formula is not working. I need to adjust. There is something I need to do so that I don't fail again. That's what it means. Anytime you fail, there is a message. It is telling you it is time to adjust the procedure. It is time to re-strategize. That's what it means. All right, so you don't need to abandon your journey because you failed. There is a practical mindset shift that you need to have, and this is it. Number one, stop attaching shame to failure. Yes, stop attaching shame to failure. Some people, when they fail, they feel shy. Oh no, I'm not going to get on that stage again. They will laugh at me. No, I'm not going to do that business again. People will laugh at me. People will mock me. The same people will celebrate and want to identify with you if you are a success. So there should be a mindset and a mind shift for you. Extra lessons instead of self-criticism. Stop criticizing yourself because you failed. Stop criticizing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people with other people because you failed. That you failed. Failure is not a funeral. Stop burying yourself in shame and criticism. Try again. Make it better. Make it wiser. Make it stronger. That's what it means. All right. Failure is tuition paid for future success. That is a quote that I'm bringing to you now. Failure, I said, is what? Is tuition paid for future success. But if you don't pay, if you go to school now, all right, 100 level, you need to pay a tuition. In 100 level, you get to 200, you pay another tuition before you can get to 300 level. In every of this level, there are tuitions to pay. If you want to change levels in life, don't be scared of failure. If you are scared of failure, you will never try anything good. So what you have to do? Keep pushing. Don't bury your dream because of one mistake that you made. I'll keep saying this. Learn, rise, and move forward. Don't worry about what people are saying. Don't worry about the situation around you. Don't think, oh, I have failed. I don't need to try it again. Keep trying. Change the strategy. Become wiser. Failure make you wiser. Because you walk through this way and you fail, you apply this strategy, this technique, this principle, this formula, and you failed. You will now need to re-strategize. Use another formula. All right? Until you get to your success. Until you get to what you want to achieve in life. All right. So you need to know that anytime you fail, it's a signal that you need to turn. You need to do something again. You need to re-strategize. You need to improvise. Come up with something new. As a matter of fact, failure is not the best option for you. So what you have to do? Try as much as possible. Right, to be sincere in everything that you do. Because if you want to please people, it will be disastrous. You don't need to please anyone, all right? You don't need to please anyone. It is when you're thinking about pleasing people that when you stumble, you say, oh, I've disappointed this person. I've disappointed even people who really love you, who want you to be successful. By the time you fail, instead of them condemning you, they will come and encourage you to do better. And that's the reason you need mentors. That's the reason you need people to talk to per time. All right? You need to talk to people. See, if you are embarking on a project, I emphasize mentorship all the time. I was speaking with a friend a few days ago and I told the person, if I want to do this thing you're doing now, it is going to be express for me. It's going to be easier. I may have hitches. There might be some times where you have losses or maybe failure at some point, but then you have people to ask questions. I have someone to ask questions. Hey, I got hooked here. What do I do? Even the disaster is not going to be as disastrous as it would have been if you never have anyone to guide you on this journey of destiny. You really need people, okay? Because as your association determine your acceleration in life, okay? And your friends, you need to be careful with the kind of friends you have. If you have a bad friend, it is disaster. If you have a good friend, it means you have a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to stand on and be tall so that you can get to that success that you are running after, that you are pursuing. Yes, congratulations, everyone. You are a success going somewhere to happen. Don't allow anything stop you on the way. Not failure, not criticism. Don't bury yourself because you failed. Failure is not funeral. Bye-bye for now and have a beautiful day.
All right, you're welcome back from that heart-to-heart inspiration. I hope you were well inspired when it comes to that segment. I know I'm always inspired by that segment. And about this point is a newspaper review, and we're going to start with the first paper of the day. Is the Punch newspaper, and above the nameplate it says Atiku economists raise concern over Tinubu's $516 million loan request, and that read you will find on page 19. And below the nameplate, the star story reads there, it says automatic tickets, Tinubu leaves lawmakers' faith in governor's hands, and that read you will find on page 2, and we have 3 riders there. And it says President rejects APC senators automatic tickets request at Villa meeting. And the next says ruling party governors get presidency's nod to spearhead state primaries. And the last on page 23 says ruling party shifts presidential governor primaries to May 21st and 23rd. And on page 3 on the Punch it says wiretapping, El-Rufai pleads not guilty, faces fresh charges. And on page 19, it says FG borrows 2.69 trillion naira from bond market in 3 months. And then, of course, at the foot of the paper, it says court remands 4 suspects over Plateau mass killing. All right, now, and that read you will find on page 5. I would say that is a step in the right direction. That was a very brutal killing that happened in Jos Plateau State, that Angwan Rukuba. That is something, it took a toll on that community, unfortunately.
Not just the community.
Yeah.
Not just, you know how you felt when that woman had that boy.
No, it was very emotional. That's why I said it took a toll, even on
individuals, international bodies,
it's so sad.
When I saw that video, I could remember how I couldn't forget it easily. Because sometimes you think these are human beings.
Yes,
what if it was you? Not you, but if it was any other person, you know. So I don't know, but these things, we are like Joko. People are beginning to forget that incident gradually.
Exactly.
Before you know, another place, lives being wasted, blood crying every day, and we are in this nation preparing for election and all.
It's just unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But we hope the law will take its course. It's very important. I'm glad these individuals, these suspects have been remanded.
Yeah.
And with time, we'll get to the root cause of it.
Look at these people. Sometimes they should be telling us not just parading these people. Let's see the end. What is their reason? What informed that action?
Exactly.
Who is behind it?
Very important.
Is it just these people? Are these people going down for the sin of somebody else who is also a culprit? These are the things we should be looking at. I don't know. But I don't want to say too tight, but then the law should take its course.
It's very important. And in the next paper on the newspaper review segment is the Vanguard, and Ramsey will run us through the Vanguard newspaper.
Garden? Oh my God. All right. Thank you, everyone. Let's take you through the next newspaper. I have the Guardian in my Vanguard newspaper. All right, let's quickly go through the Vanguard and see what the Vanguard is saying this morning. The big story is where I'm starting from, and it says glamour as Vanguard awardees step forth today. Then we move away from there above the nameplate. We also have this one which says CBN increases ATM card issuance fee by 50% to 1,500.
Can you imagine?
I don't know. They said we should go cashless, right?
Yes.
They said we should go cashless. And that was the reason they said, all right, use the ATM. You go to the bank, some banking halls today, you don't see people anymore, courtesy of fintech.
Yes.
Not the orthodox banks that we used to
Exactly.
know. The fintechs are doing, well, I'm not trying to sound an alarm for anyone, but they are not doing badly.
No,
when
they're
it
not.
comes to charges, let me use the word. You know, you like using when it comes to. So I just borrowed that word.
When it comes to.
when it comes to, I almost change it when it comes to our point. So when it comes to charges, they are not doing badly. And if the issuance of ATM card, that's the automated teller machine card, the issuance fee is increased by 50% to that's 1,500 now for you to get your card.
Yes.
Well, I don't know where they are tilting to. I think someone was praising the CBN and this administration because banks were able to meet up with their capitalization.
Yeah,
All
that's how, yeah.
Moving away from there, more headlines for you on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. This one says on page 5, Tinubu writes Senate seek approval to borrow fresh 516 million loan. That's $1 million.
Yes.
$1 million. All right. Well, they said.
Why are you breathing so hard because of that?
Because they said they never said no. You know, sometimes when you mention some amount of money, you need to breathe. You're mentioning it is not entering your pocket. You know, what does it mean?
Is that why you have to breathe?
That is claiming. All right, 516 million. Well, the borrowing, this is not becoming too much. You're not an economist, but let me ask. As a concerned Nigerian,
Don't you put me on that spot.
is it not becoming too much? The borrowing.
Don't put me on that spot, Ramsey.
They shouldn't name us borrowers. Nigeria should not be named.
Why is
borrower.
this cracking me up so much? I have no idea. Please, Ramsey, continue with the papers.
Oh, tears. All right. Okay, let's move on. On page 7, we have this headline which says 20 killed in fresh Borno Plateau attack. More killings happening. I don't know, but then, well, the word kill, massacre, butcher is becoming a household name in Nigeria, which is wrong. We don't want it.
No, it's not going to be.
You,
God
don't, you hardly go on the internet and you don't see something about killing. Hardly you see it even on the papers. Well, we're moving on. APC shift governor presidential primaries, all right? Where are they shifting it to? May 21 and 23. Then, of course, those are the headlines for you on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right. Next point of call is the Daily Times. And above the nameplate, it says, Senate tax security on rescue of 15 passengers abducted by Calabar Oron Sea pirates. And okay, so, and then the next says, 100% boat import duties stall Nigeria's water transport growth. And below the nameplate, it says, again, Tinubu requests Senate approval of fresh $516 million loan for Sokoto Badagry Superhighway. Well, at least it's for a just cause when it comes to this particular highway. Hope we see the results of the monies that have been borrowed at the same time. And at the foot, almost to the foot of the paper, it says, 10 placed on isolation over COVID-19 symptoms in Cross River. Now 10, and we do not know how many contacts these 10 individuals have been, have come across. 19 symptoms in Cross River. Okay, 10 placed on isolation over COVID-19 symptoms in Cross River. So, you know, we do not know the contacts in which these 10 have made, and the 10 before that, and the 10 before that, and the 10 before that.
Let's go back to nose mask or face mask, whatever it's called.
Very important.
And hand sanitizer.
Very important.
Let's go back to it.
No, it's very
better
important.
to stay protected. you don't know where these persons have even been,
or where they
the
are.
contacts they made, where they are.
And it's just,
Are they quarantined already, like the Chinese man?
it's not all about that. You see, it was from one individual. Now 10 individuals are bringing out these symptoms of COVID-19. We do not know the
And these 10 individuals
They've
may have been
contact
contact
with someone.
persons.
Exactly. So that is it. But for now, I just feel that people in Cross River State, please don't cross over to Abuja and Lagos to.
Please,
Just to
if you are
stay-
crossing any river, cross it back to rivers.
Ramsey, please. All right, the next paper, Ramsey, over to you.
All right, let's quickly look at the next paper, which is the Nation's newspaper. On the Nation's newspaper this morning, we have some headlines, and I'm going to be a little snappy with these headlines. This one says, for government rolled out new strategy to stabilize food prices. Boost production, very important. Stabilization of food price. That's what Nigerians want. So if the federal government want to do that, it's going to be very, very fantastic. Then this one also says FCCPC. All right. Well, it's not so clear here. Let me see. All right. It says FCCTC 6 estate over default to subscribers. Wike NUT locked in talk to end strike. That's the teacher strike. You know, the why it was written amidst that strike. Oil marketers, airline operators, regulators to resolve Jet A1 price swiftly. Governors outline plans for state police. One writer to that story, and it says Oyedele Alausa brief NGF. Now to the big story. The big story says APC targets rancor-free primaries with revised plan. You know, the initial plan was consensus, but there's a revised plan, probably because of the noise at the background. I don't want to say. Two writers to that story. Nomination forms open to all eligible party members. Second writer says electronic list of members sent to INEC. This one says El Rufai arraigned in Abuja for intercepting Ribado's phone chats. Right. Then finally, this one says Senate considers a $516 million foreign loan request for Sokoto Badagry Super Highway. Those are the headlines for you today from the Nation's newspaper.
All right, now the next point of call is the New Telegraph, and above the nameplate it says CBN releases draft to guide banks on proposed charges. And still on the New Telegraph, it says Dangote refinery exports 1.1 billion liters of Jet A1 to Europe, and that read you will find on page 29. And below the nameplate, it says here, APC postpones presidential governor primaries, unveils reverse 2027 election timetable. And that's on page 2. On page 7, it says Delta needs investors in ports, jetties, other. Obaramori tells EU. And here it says DSS arraigns El Rufai on alleged phone tapping. And on page 27 it says NMA suspends president sets up caretaker committee ahead of AGM. And the star story on the New Telegraph says governors ready for state police present administrative financing framework. And the writer says seek outstanding fiscal issues, a resolution, what measures to restore confidence in fiscal management. And that's on page 4. Now at the side, beside that, it says Middle East crisis. Tinubu assures UAE other Gulf states of Nigeria's solidarity. And on page 2, 4, and 7, the writer there says U.S. boards ship carrying Iranian oil. Trump orders Navy to shoot any boat laying mines in Strait. And on page 28, it says Plateau killings. Court remands 4 suspects in DSS custody. Adjourns case to April 30th. And at the foot of the paper, it says Sokoto Badagry Superhighway. Tinubu seeks Senate's approval for fresh $516 million loan. And on page 2, 4, and 31, where you get this read, it says Senate to security forces rescue abducted JAM candidates, others. And the rider there says reps demand more troops deployment to Benue, Borno, Kaduna. And it says bandits kill 2, abduct 7 in fresh southern Kaduna attack as troop foils Boko Haram attack in Borno. And at the foot of the paper, it says teen cannabis use linked to slower cognitive development. And that's from study. We do not know how true that is, but those are all the major headlines on the New Telegraph. Next point of call.
All right, let's quickly look at the Daily Independent before we bring in Ogochukwu Mobuno for Social Balls. Above the nameplate, it says governors demand urgent fiscal reform to save subnational budget. 2026, SAGE CDHR warned NAS over threat to electoral integrity. And we have other headlines. Atiku backs Sokoto Badagry Highway. Taku Tinubu owned $516 million borrowing. I'm in support of the highway, but then I'm not in support of the borrowing.
How will the work be done?
How will the work be done? These are the questions. Federal government considers nationwide tractor distribution across 774 local government areas in Nigeria. A court confirms FCCPC jurisdiction over banking customer disputes. All right, government reaffirms commitment to unlock national asset value, global investment. Tinubu louds Nigeria's record 91.45% ICAO aviation safety rating. One rider to that story, and the rider says OPA's 30% debt waiver for airlines amid stalled fuel crisis talk. APC unveil revised timetable, shifts presidential primary. Now the big story. The big story is going to be the last that will be taken from here. And the big story says rising energy costs drain 65 billion naira from telcos monthly. All right, energy costs. Well, we need an alternative source. One writer to that story, and it says NCC orders airtime reform for poor network service. This is what we're talking about. Poor service. Well, this is going to be the size of the conversation. I don't know if you've had, if you've experienced poor service, poor network service before.
I think everyone has.
Okay.
Everyone.
That's it. Except if you are not in Nigeria.
Except if you're not in Nigeria.
Or if you are not in Nigeria.
Exactly. Everyone has.
All right, everyone. This is the size of the newspaper headline, but we want to let you know that Global Television does not have editorial contributions to these headlines. It's entirely that of the newspaper houses. At this point, we'll take a quick break. After this break, Ogochukwu Mobuno would be here for Social Boss.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television. What happens when brilliance is overlooked simply because support is missing? Let's Talk Humanity Initiative invites you to an inspiring private documentary screening that will challenge perspectives and spark action. Titled Seen, Heard, and Included: Technology as a Bridge to Inclusive Education and Empowerment. Join us this Friday, April 24th, 2026 by 10 a.m. For more information, visit our website at www.letstalkhumanityyinitiative.org. You can also join virtually using the link in the bio. Be part of the conversation. Be part of the movement, because inclusion is not optional, it is essential.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
And welcome to the weather forecast. The northern region is expected to remain largely sunny and dry, maintaining stable conditions, while the central cities will see a mix of sunshine and clouds with generally fair conditions. Moving to the south, the morning start cloudy with chances of isolated thunderstorms over parts of Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and southern Taraba. By afternoon and evening hours, prospect of thunderstorms increases, with widespread thunderstorms and rains expected across the southern region, extending into parts of Adamawa, Taraba, the FCT, Kwara, Kogi, and Benue State. And that's the forecast for Friday. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more update. I'm Safia Senyunusa.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to look at puzzling issues on social media. Today we'll be looking at the unrest currently ravaging South Africa. We do not want Africans here. Rising tension in South Africa sparks debate on xenophobia. Well, we're looking at this concerning issue coming out from South Africa, which is sparking conversation across the continent about unity, migration, and identity. A viral video shows a group of South African activists confronting a Ghanaian migrant, questioning his presence and asking him to return to his home country. The confrontation, led by a local activist popularly known as Queen V, has ignited widespread reactions online and beyond. According to reports, the activist stopped the migrant, demanded to see his documents, and accused African migrants of leaving their country instead of fixing them. They were heard saying, "We don't want Africans here anymore. Go back and fix your countries." The incident has since gone viral, drawing mixed reactions from Africans across different countries. Well, Also, in another developing story, we saw a South African man move into a hospital and asked every non-South Africans using that hospital to exit that hospital. I also saw one this morning where some women chased a heavily pregnant woman out of a hospital because he's from Zambia, which is this is something like humanity no longer plays the role in the hearts of people. Well, let's take a look at that very short clip.
Of South Africa do not know what happened before they gained their freedom. The whole of this continent stood behind South Africa. The whole of Africa stood behind South Africa to fight against apartheid. I remember all of us growing up as secondary school children, you know, went on marches. We were part of the African Youth Command. We demonstrated, we boycotted classes and all that, all in the fight against apartheid.